Serbia, as many of other communities, is a diverse community comprised of mostly students, youth, librarians, doctors, photographers, pensioners, so to say, curators, biologists, linguists, mathematicians, all kinds of people who have a lot of free time. So our members have a broad scope of interests, and it consists of taking photos, adding sources, illustration, ornithology, heritage, preserving knowledge, and many more. And we were planning to assess them somehow, what to do with them or how to help them, how to participate on our wiki projects, and to do it in the most efficient way. So in accordance with our strategic goals and strategic recommendation 1, or to increase the sustainability of our movement, we have assessed the needs of our volunteers. We were taking into account their local context and recognized their effort. So what we started back in 2014 is micro grants, or allowing members of our community to apply for a micro grant that is up to 500 euros each, and to allow them to somehow implement what they want to do locally into a project with our guidance, but with their, let's say, half independence.
Okay. Okay. So to achieve that, we have something that we call timeline of success. So first thing that we do is reaching out. So we want to call out for submissions, find the target audiences. You know, we go to the student portals, we go to the librarian groups, we go to the media, both written and, you know, TV, internet, or stuff like that. So after that, we are gathering the applications for the projects, and we start to process it first between ourselves. Then after that, we are doing interviews with mostly with the project leaders, so we can analyze with them, offer the guidance, help them and train them, both in the sorry, wiki part of what they need to do, how can they put their photos to the Wikimedia Commons, how they can use those photos on the Wikipedia, so that they know what to do with their project. So after that, when we went through all those phases and choose the projects that will best with best usage and best, let's call them metrics, they go to work. So the part of their work is reporting to us, sometimes weekly or monthly, based on the size of the project. We have regular meetings with them. We're helping them while they're on the fields, if they have any kind of problems, both creating the stuff online, or helping them with something that they found themselves on the road need assistance. We checking with them, do they covering everything that needs to be covered. We are helping them with the promotion of the project. So if they are doing, I don't know, in some specific area, we will try to find some institutions in that area that can promote their work, or if they're going to some villages, to promote, and the villagers to know who is coming to maybe smaller secluded areas. And we also helping them with consultations, and we are trying to work with them as more that we can. So after that, after the project is done, we are counting our metrics, or in this case your metrics. So we are counting what matters to us and to them. So we are not just looking how many photos did they took. They can take, I don't know, 10,000 photos, but they can use 3. That is not good thing to look. So we are looking at the files that are uploaded, and also what articles or other parts of Wikimedia projects are those photos used. So if they are used, I don't know, on language somewhere or some illustrations, or there we are also looking at let's say photos dispersity through other Wikipedias. So I don't know if that is on some area that wasn't that wasn't having a lot of photos taken, that photos can be used in other Wikipedia, not just on Serbian. And in some of our projects they are really used and in a lot of others, so they can create the articles if the things that they are photographing doesn't have the articles, and we are stimulating to go to the places that that are old, or they maybe won't be restored, or something happened I think a few weeks ago where there was an old building in the Belgrade with that have a beautiful sculpture that was destroyed by the investors who are building new hotel or something like that. So we need, in some places we need to act fast, and that's happening in Belgrade. So and especially in some secluded areas where there is not that much control, local governments don't care about that old grave or that old tree, or they're just cutting it down, destroying it, and we want to preserve that digitally if we can. So we are trying to involve people. So even after our project is done, our goal is to leave something for the people in that area that they can do. So if I don't know, somebody came and took 1,000 pictures and then he left after a month, you need to have the consistency, and you need to know even if that project will be continued. So we are looking at, if you are next year applying for the same area, we need to look if you can again continue that, if you can go in some other area, or you can do maybe something else. So that's it. What you think?
So I would like to take you through our process of, so basically what the micro grants and our annual grants are consisted of. So basically at first, what we do, we like to address our community to see what is missing on our wiki projects, what is something that is needed, and how all the people that are part of our community can help with it. So what we used to do is either recognize some of the inspired individuals that are maybe editing, let's say specifically that field of work. I will give you examples through the presentation. So for example, we are proactive, we reach out to them and then try to get them to apply for our, let's say, a microgrant project that can maybe involve into series of microgrants, or can be even bigger, like can evolve into a whole year project with more finances. And yeah, we categorize causes, meaning that if there are people who are doing basically the same type of project, it can be, for example, mapping out the architectural architecture of Serbia in a way of, let's say, photographing churches, so basically religious buildings throughout Serbia. We can have people from south and from the north doing the same things, being a part of the same project, but each their own, doing their own territorial scope, let's say. Then what we also like to have involved is we reach out to the NGOs that might have information on the territory or on the project or on the topic, and also educational institutions, in order to get them involved, so we can actually have, for example, a GLAM cooperation there in that specific part of the country. Then we also like to establish partnerships with them in order to have them like for a longer period, or maybe they will have parts of their community or part of their people who are involved in that NGO who are doing the same project but in their own way for their own website, and we can get them to have it for, you know, the free movement. And so we find individuals with ideas, is what I already said, but also when we are inspired with something that can happen across the region, if it's geographically themed, it can have better option to have someone from across the border to do the same project maybe in another Wikipedia, other language version, right? And what we also do is with every group that we gather, for example, we had Wiki South, which is people from the city of Niš in southeastern Serbia and surroundings. So we consider their needs, the need of them to like group, let's say, to join, and then have them work on additional projects in like a distant future, so to say. When their small projects are over, it is better to have, you know, like a building community in the south, because it's something that we want to do. We want to disperse our projects into various parts of the country, not just to have it focused in Belgrade, which is capital. And so, for example, what we also do is we advise them how their budget might be used, meaning what kind of projects they want to do. Will it be like a group of photo tours, if it can be editathons, if it will involve the community, or will it be like a lone project, so to say, where they go and do the mapping and grouping and gather photos, and then, you know, that can be something that individuals in our community can do if they are, you know, willing to do something on their own. And then what we basically do is the communication with them and accessibility. Will it be in person, online, depending on how far they are, how they're willing to cooperate. You can continue.
Okay, so outline and goals. With them, we decide the relevant metrics. So we need to see their project as a whole and to see what will be relevant for their project. So if they go to some secluded area where they won't find so much data about it, then relevant metrics are the photos of that area. But if they go to somewhere where they are where they can gather the sources, then we can say that their relevant metrics are the articles. So after that, we set with them achievable targets. So we speak with them about the time span that they will spend on the field, and we see how much data will they be able to contribute, so that we don't want to set them unachievable goals. So let's say they are going to some 5 villages. We can't tell them, oh, you need to take 500 photos of that 5 villages, because most of that photos won't be usable or will be double photos or something like that. Or if they're going to the 5 villages, there is one book about all 5 of them, because they are maybe one next to the other. We can't expect them to have great articles, few hundred megabytes per article, images and stuff like that. So we setting with them achievable and realistic targets. We are determining milestones, sometimes as a whole, sometimes per week or per month, where we discuss with them what would they like to achieve, and we want to follow them through their achievements. So if they say we will go to those, let's say, 5 villages, and after that we will upload the photos, and after the photos are uploaded we will use those photos, and that is the milestone. So photos are taken, they are put on the Wikimedia Commons, and they're used in the articles, and maybe articles are expanded. So that's great. Next milestone is the new 5 villages or 5 churches or the archives or the mountains. We are moving them through the milestone one step at a time, so that they don't get overwhelmed, so they don't feel like there's some kind of clock ticking on them where they need to do hundreds of articles at once, or that sometimes people are like to leave everything for the last. So you are, going for a month on a trip, taking photos, writing something down, taking photos of the sources, preparing sources, and in the last 2 days you want to do everything. And that is simply impossible because you don't have time. You forget something that was from 2 days ago, at least for a month or two, depending on the size of the project. You go look at some hill and you don't know from where is that hill, which village is it, 1 or 2. And we want for them to lay foundations for the future development. So even after the project is done, we want to see with them if there was some opportunities from them to expand that project, so that so it becomes from the micro grant to a yearly grant, or if they can do it on some other place, or if they in the reasonable time with good achievable targets, they cover, 30%. So there is still 70% of good stuff that were left behind because they realistically didn't have time for that, so that they can in the next year or month or something continue that project. Next. Okay, so challenges. Like every other project, this project also has its challenges. So vandalism and safety concerns are mostly in the topics they are a little bit sensitive, where there is a lot of things that people on Wikipedia consider they are sensitive. They shouldn't edit that, shouldn't touch that. They can log the articles, or they can vandalize it, delete the photos, or something like that. So the next challenge is a lack of technical skill. So that means that somebody who is a good photographer and who can hike miles and miles and miles and find the secluded waterfalls or churches or something like that doesn't mean necessarily that they will have the ability to upload that on Wikimedia Commons, put the right categories, put them in the articles, sort everything as it is, put it, if it's nice photo, to the left, or panoramic or something like that. So that's something that Miki was speaking about, where we want to connect the experienced users with the newbies who are doing some project. So when you go to the hike and take the 100 photos, you can ask somebody to help you publish them, use them in an article, write something about that. So the third challenge is on this list, but in accessibility of information. So when you go to some older churches or some old villages or some places that are not mapped because they are that much smaller, you don't have information about them. You go to the hill and ask how is that hill named, and then tell you some story, but there is no written sources for you to put that story why that hill has that name. Or you can go to some village and ask when was the school built, and they will tell you somewhere around 1980s. What year? We don't know, because there is no document that can provide the necessary precise information about when something was built, who built it, why. You can ask who was the directors of that school, and they won't know that. So you won't have the necessary information that can be sourced in a good way, other than the stories of the villagers or some locals that will tell you something that you can't check in any way. And also we have the challenge of retention of the new participants, so that people, after they're done with their projects, and especially if that was really successful project, we don't want them to go away. We want to keep them in our projects and find something for them to do what they found interesting while doing these micro grants. So that is challenge with which we deal on every art project. 9 minutes. So lessons to be learned, or lessons learned. So we need to analyze the sources, ensure access to the relevant informations, and help the help the project leaders to find them, to do good stuff, to do them, as like I said, through the milestones and through help to, like Miki said, through the help from the others. We need to check the coverage of the proposed topicals. So if somebody proposed the photos of the monuments in Belgrade, that is pretty much covered. But if somebody proposed monuments on the Fruška Gora, that isn't. We need to offer the assistance through us as a Wikimedia Serbia, or connect them to the Wikipedia editors or some other projects that we are doing, or we can connect them to the previous project leaders, and that they can help each other. And we need to designate a contact person from both sides. So when we are doing the project, we need to know who is the project leader, so that they can ask the question. That is especially important if it isn't one person project. So if there is 10 persons, that that all 10 persons wouldn't write to you and ask you a bunch of questions. They will have the project leader, they will ask him, and he will give that question to us, and we can help him, not just to us, but that's the second part. The contact person from our side doesn't mean to be that will be Wikimedia Serbia. That can be some other our projects, some other project leaders, where they can intertwine and where they can work together. Or never. Okay, a picture is worth a thousand. Miki will present the photos.
Yeah. Since we're shorter on the time, I want to say that Nevena is our manager for diversity program, but also she assists those annual grand plan projects and for the micro grant project. So what I wanted to share with you, why our topic is called like this, is because, for example, we find people who are very interested in specific topics. I don't want to say weird, but if you know me, you know that I really respect grave sites and cemeteries, and I deal with them. So this woman is amazing individual that goes around Serbia, takes photos of all the gravestones that she finds, basically from 17th century and earlier. She's been having 20,000 photos and counting. She started as like a micro grant with like maybe 500 or 300 photos. That was her goal. She like scanned them, and then anything that is written on the monuments, she wrote in the what do you call it? Like the description page. Yes. So she started as a small project, then it grew. Now it's yearly project for already 7 years, and she's one of our most devoted individuals. She's been having challenges of all kinds, but what is, how we can see that her work is very notable is because of these. They're called roadside memorials, and they are all around Serbia and probably maybe other countries as well. Thank you. They are a memory of the soldiers who passed in the battle, like World War I, Balkan Wars, World War II. So their family members were not able to bury them, and they made a memorial next to a holy tree that we used to have, that we have all around Serbia as well, or on the crossroads or anywhere next to the village. Yes?
Just to mention that the woman you're talking about won a prize at Wikilos Moments in Macedonia a couple of years ago.
Okay.
So she's not only
She's active all around, but yes. So what she did is she took all 4 sides of every monument, because they are very richly engraved, and they have like a song written about the fallen soldier, and they have like a family tree. Sometimes they have beautiful like birds and flowers and whatnot, and they are decaying because they are 100 years old. Usually they don't have a little roof on top, so they are falling apart. And what is also even worse, since they are roadside memorials, it happens that cars crash into them. So there is a family who lost their family ancestors' roadside memorial, and they were able to find all sides of what it looks like. They took it to the insurance company. They gave them like all the data, and they will be reimbursed to have another monument completely the same in order to protect it and have it where it was, where it stood for hundreds of years. Another thing is what happened very recently, and it made scandal in Serbia, but obviously we have scandals every month because that's just what the Serbian government is maybe about. It is, hi to them, it is that they don't care about cultural heritage, thank you, and they destroy monuments and anything that is in their way. So what they did, they had a huge let's say, socialist era monument to the martyrs of the World War II. They demolished it completely, and it was huge, it was monumental. I didn't, for some reason, put a photo, I'm sorry. But it was monumental with 5 huge figures. It was completely destroyed by a bulldozer, by a Chinese company, also hello. And then they said that when the people saw it, when the public was very enraged, they said it was very accidental, but they don't know what to do, how to fix it. So Branka, our beautiful and amazing photographer, she sent them photos of what it looked like before. She had the only photos of what it looked like before because obviously it was in a remote road where they wanted to build a highway or whatnot. And she made a Wikipedia page about it with all the data, who made it. She basically did a huge research on the Soul Monument. So I think that she deserves an applause because she's really did something amazing. And, yes. So we have like 2 minutes, but so I'm not sure that we can talk about many other things that we had. We had people who took photos of the kurgans. Kurgans are ancient grave sites that are like a mound. We had a lot of them. They are all bulldozed, obviously. We had holy trees, which were back in the Ottoman times. They were not allowed to build churches, so they had special sacred trees all around Serbia. Basically, now they're being used as a firewood in some ways. So we had people, individuals, who took photos of specifically kurgans, specifically holy trees, sacred trees, in order to save them, and we have all that on Commons. We have, thank you, we have all of them mapped, geotagged, and written about every possible kurgan mound and the holy sacred trees, monuments. Basically, we have individuals who are dealing with something unprecedented because they are like saving the past for the future. If they cannot do it physically, at least to have it written, documented, and in our minds. And I would conclude with those words that Wikipedia and Wikimedia Commons have received images of natural and cultural heritage that were otherwise not available to the general public, even though they're of great importance for Serbian culture and history. And we thank all of them for what they did. In case you are interested, you can implement that in your own community. If you want, you can reach out to us. We will be happy to share the information with you. We will guide you through the process. And I would thank you all for joining us after lunch here. Thank you. If you have any questions, I am not really sure. We have like 30 seconds, but you can come to us in the break and we will be happy to share all the information with you.